The man picked up the child from the ground and wept inconsolably. Then he grabbed the gun from the floor, determined to avenge his son. Paul could only beg desperately. At that moment, Gary shot and killed the boy's father. Another life was extinguished before Paul's eyes, making him so sick he vomited on the spot. Gary, however, remained eerily calm, immediately moving to dispose of the father and son's bodies to avoid discovery. Paul tried to stop him, but was too weak to do anything. Gary dragged Paul away as they quickly fled. They passed through the village to the gas station, making sure to be seen by villagers to establish an alibi. Later that night, they drove back to the scene to bury the bodies. While there, Gary discovered a bullet lodged in a tree trunk, the same bullet that had killed the boy's father earlier. Because it was fired at close range, it had gone straight through the man's chest. Another bullet was still in the boy's head. It hadn't exited because it was fired from a distance. Gary felt they couldn't leave any evidence behind. He needed to dig out the bullet from the boy's head. When Paul tried to intervene, Gary shoved him aside. Since both guns and bullets belonged to Gary, he didn't want to leave any evidence that could be traced back to him. After retrieving the bullet, they buried the father and son. With only 2 hours until daybreak, they hurriedly drove back to their hotel. Unfortunately, as they returned, a sleepless young boy witnessed everything they had done. Thinking it might not matter, they each went back to their rooms and forced themselves to sleep. When Gary woke up around noon, they decided to pack their things and leave immediately to avoid any complications. But just as Gary finished getting dressed, trouble arrived. Gary noticed someone puncturing their tires. He ran downstairs to confront them, and a large man approached him. A few days earlier, when they had first arrived, they'd met 2 girls. Looking for some fun, Gary had taken one of the girls to his room. Paul, whose fiancée had recently become pregnant, hadn't done anything inappropriate. That night, Gary had crossed every line, even encouraging the girl to take illegal substances. When the girl's father learned what had happened to his daughter, his fury was understandable. He wanted to teach Gary a lesson. Fortunately, thanks to Logan's continuous mediation, the man eventually calmed down. But now their tires were completely damaged, and they couldn't drive away. With no other option, Gary had to ask the villagers to take them to the nearest repair shop. But they faced another problem there, was incriminating evidence in their trunk. To avoid discovery, they needed to find an opportunity to remove it. After arriving, Gary went with the shop owner to discuss the repairs, while Paul made an excuse to retrieve their things. While emptying the trunk, Paul accidentally dropped a knife. After quickly gathering everything, Paul returned to the office with the bag. They learned from the shop owner that since the village didn't have their tire model in stock, their car wouldn't be repaired for several days.